I started writing in 2008 after I lost my job because I had an attack on my person in my workplace, and after that I'd had a nervous breakdown, and part of the counselling that I went through was to write down your feelings, and during that process I found a love of writing. I found I could do it, so I went on to write short stories and some poems. My first short story was called Where There's Light, There Is Understanding. It was quite by accident. I wrote a story that I thought, well, I could do more with this. Perhaps I could make it into a book. That's how Time Tells Tales started. I think it is personal experience you can draw upon, your life experience, the experience you have with your family, with friends. I think a writer always will go there first, to their own feelings. I think that's where you get all your inspiration. It is from life events. I took a counselling course, so I was able to also look at it from another perspective and look back on the situation. But none of my writing is particularly run-of-the-mill. I mean, I've written love stories as well, but they all have troubles because that's what life's like, and I try to keep my writing very much how life is nowadays rather than looking at life through rose-tinted glasses. So my inspiration really came from other good writers that I'd read as well. A writer has to be a reader first. If you don't read, you're never going to learn how to write. I am a voracious reader. I read up to 5 to 6 books a week, you know, from Jane Austen all the way through to some science fiction's my favourite, I must admit. There is a book in everybody, just waiting to come out. Everybody's got a story. Time Tells Tales, there are 5 tales in it, and it starts with Alfred's tale. And he is knocked off the road by a motorist into a ditch where this motorist leaves him there, and it's a cold November night, and he's broken his arm and he thinks he's broken his leg, and he knows it's his last moments on earth, and it's just going through his memories of his lifetime and of his love for the next tale, which is Catherine. And his love for Catherine is one thing that drives him to try and find their illegitimate child, which was taken away at birth. And that's Catherine's view of everything, writing about her own life. And this illegitimate baby goes to this convent and is brought up by nuns and by priests and has a terrible, terrible time. She suffers physical abuse at the hand of this priest. At the end of that story is what leads into the next 2 tales. Jim's tale, this is all about an old man who's just lost his wife to cancer, and he's going downhill rapidly, and he has to start looking after his granddaughter. And his granddaughter's only 5, and she's got the gift of second sight, and she's always seen his wife, her grandma, always been there all throughout her life, and she encourages Angela to try and help her granddad over her grief. And then we come to Angela's tale, and how she uses her special gift to solve the mystery of who this illegitimate child was. And it all goes on from there to wind it all up to a quite spectacular ending. I have got loads of A5 notebooks that if I get an idea at night, I get my phone now. I used to have a voice recorder, but I get my phone now, switch it on, and I will try and put down, quickly, say what I thought of, and then the next day I write notes. I don't ever start with a plot or a plan. I might have a bit of a timeline, but I start with a character that I want to write about, and I move it from there, and then I bring everything else around it. And I've just found this thing inside me that wants to put these things to paper. And I've got so many more ideas lined up. I just don't think I've got enough life left to write them all. But this next book I'm going to write, I will have to do a lot of research first. And then I go on to the first proof after I think I've finished it all, which you never, ever finish. I mean, I could still go back on this and alter it and make more improvements. I do send it out to friends as well, and they will read the books and they will send back their input and their thoughts. Then it's the editing. Word, I've got the latest Word program, and I buy a software to help me proofread it. So it's proofreading, editing, until you think you've got it absolutely 100%. I did this book on Creator Space from Amazon, and I also have done it as a Kindle version, so it's available for £3. This is £9.99 because it's 475 pages, so it's quite a big book. The cover was very difficult for me to do because I just couldn't get anything that I thought symbolised the whole story. It was too much. That is my daughter Phoebe there, walking down the railway tracks at Branston. She did it part of a photograph course. It just looked fantastic. And I thought, well, it looks like Teresa, who was running away at 14. And that's how I did the cover. But to say this is about my 6th version of it. Self-publishing is so much easier than it used to be. I have got good computer skills though, and you do need those first to do all the publishing yourself, and the formatting, it's very difficult. Unfortunately, my social skills on the networks and that are the one thing I fall down on. I have got my own website, which I put all the links to where my books are available, and I'm hopefully expanding it a bit more to put some more of my short stories and poems that aren't available anywhere else. I have got 3 books of poetry, some of which are absolutely awful, but I've published them all because it shows how you grow as a poet or a writer. My skills ends at publishing. I need the marketing skills. I haven't got confidence to go out there and wave my own flag sort of thing, so I'm hoping this will do a bit of that for me. Don't be afraid, just pick a pen up and write. You have all got something to say. I started by writing about my own traumatic experience, and going through counselling and having changed personality totally, from being somebody who was obsessive and hardworking at it all the time to somebody who stayed at home all the time and couldn't go out. But it is standing outside of yourself, I think, is a skill, so you can look at other people and gauge what they're feeling and what they're going through. So yeah, talking to other people and lots of reading.